Welcome back to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Thank you for staying with us. The Department of Health and Wellness has received reports of cases of hand, foot and mouth disease from some schools on island. Hand, foot and mouth disease is a contagious viral illness. It is common in infants and children younger than 5 years old and spreads easily in childcare settings. Hand, foot and mouth disease is a mild contagious viral infection common in young children. However, older children and adults can also get the illness. It is characterized by sores in the mouth and a rash on the hands and feet. There is no specific treatment for hand, foot and mouth disease. Frequent hand washing and avoiding close contact with people who are infected with the disease may help reduce a child's risk of infection. The Department of Health and Wellness in St. Lucia records cases of hand, foot and mouth disease yearly, and early interventions usually limit transmission.
Most persons presenting with hand, foot and mouth disease would present initially with a fever, which would later be accompanied by lesions in the mouth, on the soles of the feet, on the palms of the hands, and it can also occur on the knees and the elbows, the buttocks and the genital area. There is no specific treatment for hand, foot and mouth disease. However, fever-reducing medication and painkillers can be used as persons presenting with hand, foot and mouth disease may have pain in the mouth.
Hand, foot and mouth disease is usually not a serious disease, and most people recover in 7 to 10 days without medical intervention.
Hand, foot and mouth disease is transmitted mainly from person-to-person contact when individuals get into contact with the secretions from the lesions, as well as if they are in contact with contaminated surfaces or if an infected individual coughs and sneezes. Therefore, persons presenting with hand, foot and mouth disease, it is advised to refrain from going into work or to school, as this can further spread the disease to other individuals. If you are unsure about your child's condition, or if you notice that signs and symptoms do not improve, we recommend that individuals please go into your nearest wellness facility where you can receive advice and treatment.
Parents and guardians are asked to monitor the intake of children, as pain in the mouth associated with hand, foot and mouth disease may cause children to refuse foods. Cold drinks can be administered to soothe lesions in the mouth, and parents and guardians should refrain from feeding children hard, crunchy foods while suffering with the disease. For more information, contact the Bureau of Health Education or the Epidemiology Unit at 468-5349 or 468-5325. The Minister for National Security, Herman Gill Francis, has responded to comments made by the President of Raise Your Voice St. Lucia, Catherine Seelys, about the number of cold cases which she says have piled up since 2000.
President of local advocacy group Raise Your Voice St. Lucia, Catherine Seelys, has made several claims in regards to what she describes as an unprecedented number of cold cases currently under the authority of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. She claimed that the number of unsolved murders in St. Lucia currently stands at 371. Seelys spoke on the one-year anniversary of the murder of Kimberly De Leon and highlighted that in this time frame, no one has been arrested or charged with the crime. Minister for National Security, Herman Gill Francis, responded to these comments.
If I were to give you a history of what this government has done when it comes to security in this country, you'll understand that things are working well. You have Catherine Seelys saying sorts of things about you want certain things have to happen and this sort of thing. You need to have a discussion and don't just come out overnight and just say things, okay? Because most of the things that she's saying doesn't make sense.
Francis agrees that there is currently a backlog of cold cases, but he says that there is a process in place to deal with such matters. He says that Seelys' comments are aimed at discrediting the work of the government and urges the media to be more responsible with pursuing such stories.
You all just take that story and you'll run with it, okay? None of you all thought that let me go to the director of the forensic lab, have a question her on what Catherine Seelys said, and she'd have given you all the answer. Should have told you what the process takes. The cold cases, yes, I agree that we need to look at how we can handle the cold cases. But again, there's a process. You don't take active police officers to deal with cold cases. You know, go to the United States and you'll see police officers retired. Special officers are put in that area to do with the school cases. So it's not just coming out there and say things and not even thinking, but you're going to make the government, trying to make the government look bad. So you keep saying things.
Francis says that in future, the relevant authorities will be made available to address concerns on these issues. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
A tour operator and taxi driver is dishing out tips to motorists island-wide in a bid to curb the ever-growing issue of traffic congestion, particularly along the Castries-Grosley Highway. He says if people were to work together, the problem would not be on such a grand scale. One taxi operator is pleading with motorists to be more selfless on the roads and says this is the key to easing the traffic woes that occur daily. Vincent Frederick says it is unfortunate that traffic has become a gripe which both motorists and public transportation users are affected by every single day of the week. He says the solution to remedy this matter is simple. If only motorists would be more mindful and less selfish.
There are people that have about 3 or 4 people in a house, and each of them have a vehicle. They all come into work in town. They all working at the same time. Why can't they just use 2 vehicles? You understand? If you working up the morning, your sister is working in town, use your vehicle today, tomorrow your sister use hers. You drop off your sister in town, you go to the morning. On the way back, you pick her up. Unless there's something special that you have to do, that you must use your vehicle. Because even me, there are times that I have something to do and I'm not working. I leave my vehicle up Union and I pay a minibus $2 to come down instead of parking anywhere and for me to get charged $250 or sometimes $500.
Frederick says everyone wants to drive their vehicle, even in situations when it makes no sense to have multiple vehicles being utilized. He goes a step further by saying that there is a particularly notorious culprit at play.
Women are not cooperative at all when it comes to driving, because there are times I seen a woman can just allowed somebody, example, over there, coming from the boulevard to turn into Bridge Street. They cannot go, but they will block you to prevent you from getting out. You understand? That is being selfish. We have to consider others as well when we're driving. I like to give people chances to get out, give them a break. But when it comes to me, especially, like I said, women like you, sorry to say that, but I see that every day.
The taxi operator says sometimes using one's own 2 legs is more practical.
There are people that are working at Scotiabank, right at Scotiabank, and I can tell you, they're living in the CDC. And they're taking their vehicle from the CDC, coming and pack right here in the boulevard. They're saying they're coming to work. What happened to us if we can't walk? Minibus drivers right there on Lacroix stand, right? Lacroix bus stand. They come into the bank. Just 2 minutes walk from the stand to come into the bank there. They driving around and come and park on the taxi stand. That's to show you how we St. Lucians become so lazy that we don't want to walk anymore.
He also advocates for steeper penalties and taxes on motorists who act in such a manner. The government of St. Lucia is pressing ahead with plans for an improved health sector. The St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project is well underway, with over 300 tons of steel being prepared and laid for the foundation of the project. Approximately 60 construction workers are currently employed on the site, and this number will increase significantly as work progresses. At the Owen King EU Hospital, a sustainable management structure is being sought as the transitioning from the Victoria Hospital continues. Janelle Norville of the GIS has the details.
Prime Minister the Honourable Alan Chastanet, speaking in the House of Assembly on Tuesday, indicated that healthcare remains a top priority for the government. The government, he noted, has invested significant sums of money into the health sector and is working assiduously to get major health institutions on island fully operational.
That is why last year we spent $5.5 million as a government in supporting families in need for healthcare. That is why getting the St. Jude's up and running and opening, that we've improved the quality of the facility at the stadium. That is why we're now improving and have improved the facilities in the primary health care services. And that is why we're going to have a massive training program, but more importantly, that we're going to introduce a healthcare insurance, a card in which people now, when they are sick, they can go to the doctor. And the benefit to the state is that we will, for the first time, have a state of health of our country. We will know who has high blood pressure, who's pre-diabetic, and start capturing and addressing those problems before they become crisis. But more importantly, that we'll now have programs to be able to benefit those people. And we have the empirical evidence, Mr. Speaker, to show whether in fact that we're making a dent in our problems.
According to Director of Implementation Nancy Charles, the government is striving to have a structure that will ensure the sustainability and continuity of the Owen King EU Hospital. A proper governing structure would ensure accountability, transparency and maintenance of the hospital. The ability to fund the hospital, according to the Director of Implementation, also plays a critical role in the government's plans. However, she explained that efforts towards the transition into the Owen King EU Hospital are continuing.
We are currently working on the National Health Insurance, so the Ministry of Finance together with CDB and World Bank, they've started a project in looking at how we can incorporate, if not a full but a partial National Health Insurance. And with reference to the management structure, the government has been in negotiation with Cayman Health City for a consultancy service to assist us in putting a proper management structure at OKEU. So you have been hearing a lot that we want to privatize the hospital and give Cayman Health City the hospital to run and so forth. None of that is the case. We have asked for, or we are negotiating, a consultancy contract, and by that I mean they will be bringing in professionals and persons because they have the wherewithal and they know how to put in certain structures for hospital management and ensuring continuity. They will be assisting us with our local St. Lucians who would be hired for the job, teach them, train them, so that they can eventually manage the hospital on their own.
As it relates to the St. Jude Hospital, Charles explained that there were several issues with the existing structure. The condition did not allow for a proper health facility of international standards, and so the government is taking the necessary steps to improve the facility. Some of the structures, including the kitchen, the emergency unit, the warehouse and administrative center, to name a few, require some rehabilitation work.
I am pleased to say that we have started the process of the new wing of the St. Jude's Hospital. So let me remind you, what is it that is happening at St. Jude's? Some of the existing structure at St. Jude's is not fit for use. So for example, the unit that was dedicated for dialysis, it was an existing unit. There are cracks in the building is unsafe, and so we cannot use that building for dialysis. It means we have to build a new structure to house the dialysis unit. And also the main structure for the operations of the hospital, your operating room, outpatient, and so forth. This facility also was not in keeping with the international standards for a hospital, and so we now have to build a new wing for that facility as well. So construction for the new wing of the operating and operational center for St. Jude's Hospital has begun. I can safely say that right now we have begun excavation and we are preparing for the foundation and for the building of the structure.
The government of St. Lucia assures the public that no effort is being spared in ensuring the health facilities on island meet international standards and are fully operational. For the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news coming up after the break.